Alright guys, so here we are with a little bit of a follow-up to the last video that I did on the GTA 4 beta leak. Again, this is not an in-depth analysis that's going to come at a much later date, probably in a month's time or something when everything's been fully checked through. But in the meantime, I just want to share a bunch of these really cool stuff that has been found. Now, in the last video, I talked about how the Zastava M70 and the MP5 were not in this version. The beta versions of those models, they're not in this version. And yeah, the beta MP5 is not in this version. But if you saw in the video, there were remnants of the Zastava M70 and the MP5K. Not the MP5, the MP5K in the zombie pickups for one of the mini games. So we had that at least. And then I decided to go in and check the prop versions of the guns before I only checked the actual weapons. I didn't check the actual prop models that I just use as props. They're not the actual weapons, if that makes sense. But I went and checked in that, and unfortunately, the MP5, it was still the final version. There was no beta MP5, unfortunately. But I checked the AK-47, and there it was. The Zastava M70 AB2, there it was. Yes! The beta AK-47, oh my goodness, I was hyperventilating. I was actually so shocked that I found this. I was just, oh my goodness. So basically, I've ported that model into the game, which is the background footage that you're seeing right now. I'm going to be uploading a full video where I just have a play around with it if you just want to see some footage of it. And then I'm also going to be releasing these files, of course. And I'm going to be also converting it to the cutscene model and the prop model for the final game. So you get the full experience with the Zastava M70 AB2. And the question is, I'm not even sure if this actually is technically a straight up Zastava M70 AB2, because it looks very similar to the AK-47 in San Andreas, and of course even in GTA 4 a bit as well. It's kind of like a hybrid between the Zastava and the AK-47, and the game files do call it an AK-47. It wasn't called a Zastava, so I really don't know. The Zastava being like some sort of hybrid between the AK-47 and the Zastava M70, it kind of reminds me of the silenced pistol and how it's actually not technically just a Beretta 92FS, but it's actually partially a Beretta 1951, because the trigger on the silenced pistol model, it's very similar to a Beretta 1951 when compared to the 92FS, while the rest of the gun does look pretty much identical to a 92FS. It's clearly based on that for the most part, but the trigger is definitely a 1951 because it's sunken in compared to the more, I guess, traditional regular style of trigger, like the one the Beretta 92FS has. So beta GTA 4 is no stranger to making hybrid guns, mix-matching multiple real-life guns into one. So I do think that the Zastava M70 technically is not fully a Zastava. It's not technically fully an AK-47. It's kind of a mix-match of multiple different guns. But because the community has been calling it the Zastava M70 for about, what, 17, 18 years at this point probably, I don't think the name of this is really going to change to anything else aside from Zastava M70. Maybe at best it'll be called Beta AK-47 or just Beta Assault Rifle. And also GTA 4 of course has just some very strange weapon models, especially if you know a lot about firearms. Then yeah, these are very strange because like some of them got like the safety on and they're just a bit weird. Yeah. Now, I'm not done with the Zastava M70 or Beta AK-47 or whatever. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it the Zastava, yeah, because it's most well known. In one of the screenshots we got of the Zastava, there's this weird shine, like this weird metal plate from the looks of it. It's like metal on the side of it, and I always wondered why it looked like that. And in trailer 2, it doesn't look like it has that, so like, is it a bug or something? Is it a part of the model? What is that? It always kind of confused me. But because we have this model now, I can actually pretty much crack the mystery on why this is the case. It's because the material, the textures for that side of the Zastava, there's no spec map for it. So basically the game is missing one of the mappings to give it more detail and like handle the reflections or whatever. It doesn't know what to do without it, so it calculates the brightness wrong or something, so it's very bright depending on the way the light shines at it. And that also explains why in trailer 2 you can't really see the shine on it. You can see it a tiny bit, but not really at all. It looks completely fine. But in that other screenshot, you can see it's very bright, and it's not like it's a slightly different model or some sort of alternate texture. It's a bug with the spec map of it. You also might notice that the textures here for the Zastava, the normal maps for it are green, when usually they've always been blue for GTA 4. And that's because I'm pretty sure in Max Payne 3, that's how it is. And yeah, this entire model just, it kind of gives off the vibe that it came straight out of Max Payne 3, honestly. So, I guess maybe it was kind of repurposed from there, or maybe it was made by the team doing Max Payne 3, if it was a separate team compared to the IV ones, I don't know. But maybe it's sort of connected to Max Payne 3 then. Up next, we got a couple more beta weapons. Some of these are more different than others. The first one we got is the combat shotgun, although in the files internally it's called the pump shotgun, but it's actually the combat shotgun because Rockstar messed up the names of the shotguns or something. They swapped them around. It's a lot of mess, but it's the combat shotgun. We've seen this model before in the art book, but unfortunately in this leak we do not have the textures. Now, the one in the art book does kind of look like it has a bit more detail, but it might be the texture work on it, because it kind of looks like it's got more indents in it, if you can kind of see there. But it's likely the exact same model. Next up, we got the M40A1 sniper rifle, and as you can see here, it is very similar to the final game, just the texture is a bit different, the wood is more saturated, I guess. And it also had a front sight in the beta version. In the final game, that's not there. So there's just some very minor differences. But what's even more minor than that is the Micro Uzi. I think it's slightly different, not a whole lot, but it is pretty much identical to the final version, especially at first glance. You really just gotta look at it very closely to see what's different. I'm pretty sure they are almost the same thing. It's probably like the revision right before the final version or something, I'd assume, maybe. Up next, we've got the M4, the beta M4. Now, this one is pretty similar to the final version, but it's slightly different. It's a lot more of a lighter grey compared to the more darkish greyish black of the final version. There's a lot less parts to it, it's a bit less detail. And this model we did see in the TV shows, the in-game TV shows in GTA 4, so it's really cool to see this model officially in much more clearer detail. Up next, we got the Desert Eagle. This one is kind of surprising to me. I think this one was also in the TV shows, but it was just so low quality, you couldn't really see if it was different or not. It looks almost identical to the final version because of the quality. But here, it's very different. Wow, it's more of a grey instead of like the greenish grey of the final version, I guess. But it's very cool. It kind of reminds me a lot of a model that would fit into San Andreas more. Like, this is very low quality looking, in my opinion, but it's still really cool to see. Maybe it'll look a lot better in game. I'm sure it definitely will. Now, up next is this one, which is pretty crazy. We got the rocket launcher, the RPG. Wow, this is very different from the final version. I wonder if these are temporary textures or something, because it's very different. It's like got wood on it, and it's surprising at how different it is compared to the final version, the more iconic, I guess, traditional look of the RPG that was in the final version compared to this very different one that was in the beta. So, wow, it's really cool to see this. Up next, we got what appears to be some sort of beta mission complete set. I'm not sure if this was just one that was going to be used for all the missions, or if it was just for a special mini game or something for multiplayer or something. I'm not sure exactly what this would have been used for, but here it is. Now, in the last video, I also did say that there was no tools that we could use to open up the vehicles and see if there were any differences. But there actually is. I'm not sure if it was just unknown at the time or if it was just very obscure and then was just found again. But it unfortunately looks like that most of them are very similar to the final version. There's a couple other ones that do have some other changes. I'll put them on screen right now. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any, like, completely different looking vehicles that got completely remodeled or anything. There's just a couple different small parts and badges and texture differences. So, that's kind of unfortunate. Maybe there are some vehicles that did receive a lot of changes, but we just haven't looked through all of them, so we just don't know at this point. But from the looks of it, there isn't really anything different, at least we know currently at this time. So yeah, that's that. Up next, we've got a couple props from the cut zombie minigame. So there's some hospital beds here, and then we've also got, these also have, I showed some of these off in the last video, but we didn't have the textures for them. But now we do. So we got these dead cop models, they're all bloodied up, pretty low quality textures, unfortunately. But what's interesting about them as well is that they've got NYPD badges. They're not the LCPD badges, so that's very interesting. I wonder why they didn't change them. I presume they just forgot to or something, and they were going to. Maybe they realized it would take too long to do it, so they decided to just cut them. I don't know. But it's very interesting to see these models. Yeah, I presume they would have been just used as props around the map or in the hospital or something, probably around the map. Another thing that we now have the textures for is what I showed in the last video that I found was the beta phones. So we got the textures for the mobile phones, the flip phones, and all that. We finally got the textures for them. So it's really cool to see all of them. And one of the phone models had textures for the UI for the phone screen. So we've got a little sneak peek, I guess, a little peek at what the interface, the UI for the mobile phones would have looked like. So that's really cool. And as for the flip phones, I don't know if like the black metal texture versus the chrome texture, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be on the inside or the outside, which is supposed to go where. I think the black metal is supposed to go on the outside. I don't know. I initially thought it was the other way around, but then I looked at it again, and then I just think, oh, maybe the black metal was supposed to be, I don't know though. And the last thing that I have an update for that was in the last video is the beta cutscenes, the extended cutscenes. So we did have some of the cutscenes playable on the PC version, or at least in Open 4, the cutscenes and the audio with the animations converted to work on PC. And now, yes, we do have it working in-game. We have them working in-game.
Ah, fuck it. You jerk. Now I gotta clean that up. Fuck you, Mickey. I'm fucking soaking here.
Yeah, soaking inside and out.
Fuck you. Fuck all of you. Especially you, Sergey. You worse drunk than me. And you a fag. Your dick don't have ED. You just don't like women!
Whatever, Mel. Looks like you pissed yourself again.
Fuck you! You're a bunch of pussies!
The fearsome street warrior stands outside the site of another gangland massacre!
That's right.
Oh, cut.
What?
Okay.
What?
Oh. Could you walk out of there just one more time? We need to get the shot just right.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I can put my foot to your face if you like. I don't mind doing that again and again.
Oh.
So, where are you taking me?
You look good.
Aw, thanks. Yeah, great! Let's go! Love the fun fair. Actually, we call it, carnival here. Just a little difference. Whoop-de-doo!
It's Nico. You said to head over.
Oh, so, head on up. Hey, what's up, money?
Hey.
Come on.
I'm not saying that.
Yes. Mr. What's your name?
Mickey.
Well, Mr. Mickey, you're going to have your license revoked.
What?
My friend, smoking in a bar.
And action.
I now declare you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
So I definitely could see a mod of all these beta cutscenes being added back into the game in the future. It's definitely possible. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is just more context around the build itself and all that, since I kind of skimmed over it pretty quickly because I wanted to just get straight into the action of all the stuff that was found. So yes, the build is from November 23rd, 2007, and there are a couple other files that are way earlier from like 2006 and some that are way later in 2008, but I'm pretty sure they're just executables or like crash dumps and all that. I think some of them even go back to 2005 or something. Some of them relate to San Andreas, so there's a lot of stuff going on around there. But currently this leak is just one build, unless someone sees all the attention that this has gotten and then they decide to leak another build that is either more closer to the final version or even better, even further away from the final version, closer to end of 2006 or something maybe. Or maybe someone will even leak a really early version of episodes from Liberty City. Man, I would love to get an early version of The Lost and Damned, knowing how much it changed. Man, that would be really cool. Now, like I said in the last video, this beta build is taken in between the time of Trailer 2 and Trailer 3. And another way I can put that into comparison for you is that the final game is build 118. That's the final game. But this build that got leaked is build 78. Wow, that's actually way earlier than I thought it would be. Wow. Now, even though 5% of this beta build is lost, with 95% of it being intact, there is a chance that more of it could be found. I'm not sure necessarily about the script stuff, some of the more major stuff, unfortunately, but some stuff could possibly be recovered. I don't know. It's possible. If that definitely will be the main focus of part 3. It's definitely possible, but it's kind of unlikely. Alright, I'm in the middle of editing this, and I've got a small update / I want to give some more clarifications to this. So the current theory, judging by a bunch of crash dumps and logs found on this dev kit, is that a bunch of files, like the scripts for the missions and the player model for Nico and all his clothes and all that, some of those files were apparently stored on a separate drive or a separate network because they were updated constantly or something. So those may not have been downloaded to the console, so we may not end up getting those, unfortunately. But apparently there are a couple stray files or something that we've found, but these are apparently of the vehicles and the weapons, and I think they come from later builds, so there's not going to be much in them. They're still worth looking into, of course, but I don't think there's going to be much in them. And it's also possible that modders, being the modders that they are, it's definitely possible that they could also just combine this with some other dev kit version or some other version of the Xbox 360 version of GTA 4 and just play this build. It's possible that they could just sort of Frankenstein something together and actually play something. It's possible, but I don't know. A lot of it would probably not be true to the actual beta version, but it's possible. I've got an update to this, and it looks like it has been done. I'm not sure if it's fully stable, but it does appear to be possible. And again, there's also the possibility that someone else who has been sitting on a beta build for years and has just never released it, but after seeing how big this got, they might want to capitalize on it and release another build, and maybe that could be an intact version of the build we have. It could be an earlier version, like I said, or later version. But it's possible. There's so many different things that could happen. You just never know when or how it's going to happen. Just remember that the files of Beta Nico are out there, and the Beta MP5, the Beta map, all of that, the Beta missions even, some of the old audio, it's all out there on some hard drive, just sitting there waiting to be dumped online. It's all there. It's been sitting there for years. Probably older than even some people watching this video. That's crazy to think about. It's just sitting there waiting to be dumped online. The question isn't if these beta models and beta builds will be found, but the question actually is, when will they be found? Despite the fact that an early version of GTA 4 was found with so many files and so many cool discoveries, a lot of people, a fair amount of people in the comments of my last video were really upset because they were saying that, oh, I really want to just play this build, you lied, it's not a fully complete build, you're an idiot, you clickbaited, you're a liar, I hate you so much, you should die. And I'm just surprised that there's so many people, actually no, I'm not surprised actually, because this is the GTA 4 community, and then a lot of these people also came from Twitter and other sources, and they're also GTA 4 modders, and the reason I'm saying that is because, in all honesty, and it's pretty unfortunate that I have to say this, because there's a lot of bad stigmas around those types of people in those communities, unfortunately, and I really hate to say that because there's a lot of nice people in all of these communities. There's so many nice people that commented saying that they're so happy to see their favorite game have so many unknown secrets get revealed to the public. So I was fairly surprised to see a lot of people just not be happy with what we got and just be very angry. Like, I'm surprised that there's actually so many people that were angry at this because there's so much stuff that we never knew about and they don't care. I'm very surprised at that. And I also saw a lot of people making fun of me, saying that, oh, I hate this guy's voice. And I can understand that because I was pretty fumbly in that video. But I just wish people understood that I was excited. I try to say that, yeah, I'm very excited and I just want to get this out as soon as possible and tell as many people as possible that this was found, because I was just so excited because there's so many things that people have just known very little about, and just to get all this fully revealed to us, and so many unknown secrets, never seen before cut content get revealed, I was just so excited and just so shocked at all of this. I was not expecting to see this much out of it, and I'm very happy with what we got, and I'm just so grateful that we got all of this. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this video is where exactly did this Xbox 360 dev kit come from? And it's a pretty interesting story, honestly. Apparently it was just found in a car boot sale for like £5 or something, and that's pretty unbelievable, but I'm kind of inclined to believe it because it's not impossible to think that someone would just not think that this is special and just sell it for very cheap. The odds of this happening is very low, but they're not zero, so I could definitely see this happening. It's also possible that this is a cover-up for some other larger plot, some other heist that happened at Rockstar or something. I don't think that's the case. Maybe at most it'd be some employee or someone who just sold this off privately or something, who got mad at Rockstar or something for like all the layoffs or something. Maybe, I don't know, but they decided to just give this to someone or sell it to someone, and then it eventually got posted online or something, because it's very strange and surprising that this ended up in the hands of the right people. They managed to recover a lot of these files and dump it all online. But I think what's the craziest part of this is that there was a name attached to this console somehow. There was the name Les_Home. Who do you think that is? Leslie Benzies. I hope I'm not getting in trouble saying this, but there's a chance that maybe this was actually his home Xbox 360 dev kit that he personally used to test the beta builds of GTA 4, and apparently there was some other stories going around how he'd invite some people or someone, maybe like one of the Hauser brothers, over to his house and just play test the beta build of GTA 4 or something. I'm not sure if that was true or not. Again, this all allegedly, don't sue me, Rockstar, this all allegedly, and there's also some theories going around that maybe it was not at his home, it was just at his office or something at Rockstar, and then they ended up cleaning it out, and then a Rockstar employee, of course, 25% of them just want to leak anything GTA related, so maybe they took it and then they sold it or passed it on to someone else and got all these files dumped or something. Maybe that's the case, I don't know, but the fact that Leslie Benzies' name is attached to this console is crazy and kind of funny as well. Allegedly, I'm not saying this is 100% the case, allegedly. And that's going to be it for this video related to the GTA 4 beta build leak. Now stick around in this channel because of course I'm going to be covering pretty much the whole leak, pretty much almost everything that was found in one big video. And also pretty soon, maybe in a day or two, or probably less than 24 hours if I am fast enough, I'm going to be uploading the Zastava M70 in the PC version, my gameplay of it, and also as a mod for you guys to check out and just have fun with. And that's going to be it for this video. Bye.